Tamara, talk to me about when Cooper first started playing. You're a mom of 4 boys, but talk to me about how he first fell in love with football.
Oh gosh, it started from the crib. I mean, and from the moment he walked out the hospital. I mean, he had two older brothers at the time, and they were already in football, had a hand or a ball in their hand as soon as they were home. And so he just, he watched his older brothers. He was there at every game. Cooper and Camden, they were Cooper was a few months old, but he was there in the in the stroller, all bundled up, watching his brothers. And then when he got old enough to walk, he's running on the sidelines, playing catch. We're playing catch with them in between, and so he's just always been around the game with Tom, playing himself. And me, I grew up, I mean, at 5 years old, I started going to Iowa Hawkeye games back home. My dad had season tickets, so football is part of our family, and he just fell in love with it from day one. So,
He is widely regarded. I mean, the past few seasons, I know because I got to cover him before, as being the best offensive lineman in college football. When did you know he had that special talent, and what do you think made him so successful?
I think from a mom, you always deep down are like, man, he's special. Um, but gosh, I think probably his junior year in high school is when I really saw, he played both sides of the line and he just dominated kids, and he's a big kid and he was big compared to a lot of people in high school. Um, and then, he got to college and it was an eye opener, and he was in there and then all of a sudden, again, he just took off. And, from that point forward, it was just football. I mean, he's not just doing the stuff on the field. I mean, he was, working offline and looking at defenses and going through the playbooks. And, he was playing three positions at K-State. So he had to have a lot on his shoulders at times, but he loved it. I mean, he's just a really hard worker, and he does the things he needs to do to be successful.
What are his conversations like with you and his dad at the dinner table about football and what his goals were at the college level?
Well, I think, for dad, it was always, all right, so you were on this play and, you might not have done the bet. You're like, what do you think about that? And so they would talk about that stuff all the time. And that was the first thing, even after every game. Mom always got the first hug and kiss. I love you. Congratulations. A little chat. And then dad, him and when his brothers were there, we're always talking shop. So, but the dinner table was fun. It was all about, and it wasn't just Coop, it was about the team. Like, okay, so and so had a great game, and hey, how's the new freshman coming along? And what do you think about so and so? And so, there's a lot of team aspect in regards to that. But we give each other a really hard time, all of us, being a mom of 4 boys. So I'm usually on the bad end of that. But we have a lot of fun with it. But it was a lot of good conversations always.
Talk to me about your draft night.
Oh boy, it was amazing. Coop wanted it to be very intimate, with just, our close family and a few of his close friends. And so we had everybody over. And I remember Friday night, at the first round, we had intuition that he wouldn't go the first round. But we were all together as a family, just our immediate family, and we hung out. And then it was like, okay, this is kind of getting real. And so the second night, we were arranging furniture and getting people so we could have everything set up. And then we had news crews calling. And so we had 3 crews. Then we had K-State picture. And then I had a good friend of ours, local, that does photography, come in and she goes, man, she goes, I've been doing this a long time, but I've never had to compete to, it's like a paparazzi. So it was really fun. And it was really nervous for him and for us and for everybody. Cause it's just kind of the waiting game, like, okay. And to be truly honest with you, the agent had told us, teams that were really interested, and he had gone to visits and did interviews nonstop for quite a while. And, and we saw the ticker on the bottom, and when Dallas came up, we didn't even really, not that we didn't think about it, but it wasn't on our radar. And so when all of a sudden the phone rings and I'm next to him and he's like, hey, this Jerry Jones. I'm like, oh my God, it's Jerry Jones, like he's on the phone with Cooper. He's going to Dallas, and so we were all just going crazy, and it was really a magical night. And it was something to remember. But we were super proud of him. Everybody was there that he wanted to be there. And it was the moments were captured. It was really great.
You've got to share a couple of those draft night photos with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will. Got a
So
lot.
so when you hear that it's Dallas, he knows he's gonna be a Cowboy, what was Cooper's reaction?
Oh, he was in heaven. I mean, for him, it was like, wow, the Dallas Cowboys, and also, his dream was there, like he was being drafted to go play in the NFL. So for him, it was pretty amazing. He was so excited, and he got to talk to all the coaches from the get-go on that, that phone call, and then it just went crazy. And I think he was just on a high. It was really awesome.
Now, Tamara, you're a mom of the game, 4 boys.
Yeah.
He's making the position switch, right? He mostly played guard at K-State. He's
Mhm.
making the transition to center. You know how vital that position is.
Yes.
What was kind of his mindset when they told him, "Hey, we want you to be center"?
Well, that when he actually went back to go to K-State one more year, one of the things that, because we sat down as a family and kind of talked about what you wanted to do, what are you thinking? And, it wasn't our decision, it was his decision. And one of the things he said is, hey, I want to practice at center because I know if I'm able to go to the next level, that you have to be able to play all the positions because they only carry 8 or 9 guys. And so, that's something he's been thinking about for a long time. And he did practice at K-State, never was actually in a game. But he, shortly after he got the call and, or excuse me, during the call, they actually said, we want to have you go center. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go. So
So during the broadcast, it's week 1, your son's dream of being a player in the NFL is realized, and we see you come across the screen. Who took the video, and did you know they were recording you guys?
So yes, these are animal stones that are immortalized and purified. I mean, there's could be Frankenstein experimental. Absolutely right. This is the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Which makes me responding to this. I remember it's an outrageous that the Department of Defense is spending.
I did not. It was actually my husband. So, and I honestly didn't even know till 2 or 3 weeks later. And the only really reason I found out was, Coop had mentioned it when he was at camp, and he said, no, my brothers didn't help me. My mom did. And, there was some talk on, and my husband's a big, on social media and follows everything. And they're like, oh, he's probably making that up. And Tom was like, no, he's not. Here's the video. And I'm like, when did you take that video? And he goes, I was poking through the blinds when you guys were out there one day. And I just thought, and I go, well, you didn't say nothing to me. He goes, me, I'm always doing stuff like that. So, yeah, it was really funny because it just went crazy. And I was like, hey, I'm just a mom doing her thing, helping her son. So, it was pretty, I got all sorts of, I mean, I usually I'm not on social media once the game starts. I go on and kind of check text at halftime, and then I stop again. And man, my phone was blowing up. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, and Tom Brady actually talked about you, and and this and that. So it was pretty fun. They're like, it was a good time. It was pretty awesome.
So please tell me, how does Cooper say, "Hey, mom, I want to practice snapping. Can you come out in the backyard with me?"
Yeah, so actually, I work from home. And so when I came downstairs to get water one day, I saw him hike into a trash can. And I was like, I went out there, go, hey, bub. I said, what you doing? And he goes, well, I'm just, I need to practice. And I go, well, I said, by the time, I said, I can help you. I said, you get back from your workouts, around my lunchtime, I'll take a lunch and we'll just practice. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, absolutely. So that's kind of how it started.
What are those moments like? What are you guys talking about as he's practicing and you're taking those snaps?
Yeah, well, what was funny about it, so we've never had a center. I mean, they played a little bit of center here and there when they were little, because obviously my boys are not small people. I was asking a lot of questions because I was like, okay, so, like when you're back there, does the quarterback, does it like, is it going to be hard? Because I wanted him to be able to practice and not worry about, oh, am I going to hurt mom? And so I was like, so do you do it hard? Do you do it soft? And he was kind of telling me about that. And then he was talking about, I was kind of watching him and I'm like, well, why do you hold the ball that way? And he goes, well, because of this. And and he talked about, because we did the here we go, and then we did the silent count. And I was like, so like, how does that work? He goes, well, when it gets really loud, he uses hand gestures because, he can't hear. And I'm like, okay. So we practiced that. And he wanted to, hold it where he hiked it. So he knew where it was. So he knew where in the body. So I actually, as a mom, his dad coached him all through up to middle school. And, I was always there to support, obviously. But, for me to be part of that was really the real first time that I was able to do that for any of my boys as far as football, because it was always their dad. So it was really awesome. It was really a great time. And I was happy to support him, and I learned a lot. So I can watch it differently now because I understand it a little bit better.
Oh, you did your best Dak Prescott impersonation.
Yeah. It doesn't come near to the greatness that he does it, but I tried.
So, what has he told you about Dak, right? I mean, the relationship between a center and a quarterback is super important. What has it been like? I mean, going through training camp and now playing with him?
He said he's been amazing. All the veterans have, they've been really supportive. Zach and all the guys have been, helping him out, but Dak is, that special relationship, there is one, and he's been nothing but supportive for Cooper. And he's really fortunate to be able to have mentors like that and veterans that can help him in his rookie year and beyond. So he's very fortunate, but I know over time that relationship will get stronger and stronger, and they'll really go together well. So I'm excited for him.
Of course, we got the alert, Tamara, right before the game. Dak Prescott is now a $60 million man. So your son, first time at center, first game in the NFL, is snapping to the most valuable quarterback in the league. No pressure. What are you feeling before the game?
Oh gosh. There was a lot of talk in the family chat. So we have a family chat, and there was a whole lot of talk about, wow, this and that. So that was pretty fun. But, for me as a mom, it was so exciting. One, because we wanted Dak to still be there, right? I mean, for Cooper to have the ability to be with an incredible veteran as Dak is, we were fortunate. And I'm like, oh man, I hope they work this out. So, and then when we heard it, we're like, all right, here we go, so we're ready to go. And I was just, I just wanted him to just kind of take the breath and relax and do his thing, and to be with someone like that is really incredible for sure.
So since you know now, how was his form in his first game?
Looked pretty darn good. I was super proud of him. I was like, all right, all right. And, like when we were, there were times where they're at down towards the opposite the end, and I'm like, all right, Coop, you got to have that. You cannot have it over his head, or or we're on the third down, we're close, to scoring. It's like, okay, make sure, so. But it was fun to watch him. So I usually watch, even when he was guarding, I would watch him until he released, and then I would watch the rest of the game most of the time. So but it was cool. He did well.
I mean, it's so funny. I talked to a couple of Cowboys insiders today for my story, and they said you always know an offensive lineman has a great game when you don't talk about them. There's no penalties, no pressures allowed, right? So after the game's over, of course, you guys as a family are there. What were some of those first embraces and little chatter after the game?
We were talking like, hey, bub, your first one's down. You're ready to go. You know, you got that first one down. You did really well. We're super proud of you. And, you know, and my husband has said this in interviews before at K-State, but the first thing he said is, well, I got beat a couple times and this is why. And so he's always, wanting to make sure that he's learning from those experiences. But he goes, it feels good, and we were talking about the field goal kicks, and I was trying to understand. I'm like, so they just plow you over? Is that how that works? And he's like, well, there's a technique to it. And so, but he was super excited. He felt really good and he even said when we talked to him on Thursday night in FaceTime, and I said, so you ready to go? You nervous? And he's like, yeah. He goes, but you know what? Once I get through that first series, I'll be fine. It's football. I'm gonna, I just got to keep working at it. I just got to keep getting reps and that sort of thing. So it was a lot of excitement, a lot of big hugs and a lot of just so proud of him. And he felt really relieved. You could tell he was like, whew, okay, I got that first one down. So, and it was a good one. And he got the W as a team. The team has got the W, and he got his first one under his belt. So it was a great night for sure.
There's tons of sports moms here in the great state of Texas, not unlike the Midwest. I've lived in both. Um, what do you think it is about our moms that we love so much, particularly when it comes to our football athletes or basketball players? What is it about the moms of all of our kids that you feel like resonates so much with other people across the country?
I think because there's so much that moms do behind the scenes that nobody sees, so when it comes to any sport, like I coached the boys in basketball, Tom coached football and baseball. And it's really so much, there's a lot of mental in the game of any sport, right? And the dads are amazing. They definitely support that mental, but the moms that really are doing those things to help their sons or daughters do the things that prepare them mentally for the game, along with all the laundry and the food and the cooking and everything else that goes around that nobody really appreciates. I just think that, they always see the dad in the sport, especially football. It's like, oh, dad, because back in the day when I was younger, we didn't have football. Man, I tell you what, if we had it, I would have been in it. I played in the neighborhood kids, but today you at least have, flag football for women. But the moms, there's so much that moms can do support. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of moms out there, single moms, that are doing amazing things for their sons. They're going out in the backyard, what I'm doing, they're shooting hoops, or they're throwing, catch for baseball, or they're throwing, routes or whatever. I mean, they're just doing a lot of things, but they don't really, to be honest, get a lot of credit for that. And so it really does feel good. I remember when my video first went viral, and I'm kind of I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a humble, sit back kind of person. And my boys I've instilled that in them as well. And when it was going viral, my husband's like, look, he goes, I know that you talk that, the moms don't get credit and that sort of thing. He goes, you know what, this is a great thing for all moms, so just enjoy it. So it was a great feeling. I think moms are really special to their boys. I mean, a boy and a mom's connection are pretty special. And so it was great for people to see that we're there. So.
Are you ready for him to boot you for Dak Prescott?
Yeah. Not quite, but maybe a little bit. Definitely make some room for him. Let's put it that way. So we're excited to have him as part of the family. We're excited to be part of the Cowboys. We're excited for him to be part of the Beebe family in some way. So yeah.